Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to hike to the Slide Mountain Lookout, which is the northern part of the LA area off of the 5 Castaic area here. This is an interesting hike for a few reasons. Number one, you start in Angeles National Forest and you end on the border of Los Padres National Forest. The other thing is we're going to start on the old closed highway before they built the 5. There was a different road that went through there. It's closed to traffic now, so the beginning of the hike is on that. We go along Piru Creek, which is a big trout fishing place, and then we start the climb. It's about 2,500 feet, about 11 miles round trip altogether. But we start going up, and it's a Forest Service road, and then it turns into a single track. And along the way, you get some jaw-dropping views of into Los Padres National Forest. Really, really incredible. Kind of makes me think of this is how the San Gabriels might have been over by like Mount Wilson or everything before they got developed. It's really sort of rugged and not so developed aside from the I-5, which is sort of away from us here. Anyway, I'll talk about the hike and a little bit of the history of the hike and the fire tower on the guide on HikingGuy.com. There's a link to that right under the video if you want to go to that. And if you're liking the video, if you could do me a big favor and click the little thumbs up, it helps me out a ton. So thanks for doing that. And yeah, let me show you this cool hike. It's a fun one and it's a little bit off the beaten path, but definitely worth visiting if you have not done it already. All right, let's go. All right, so we're going to start from the parking area by Frenchman Flat. And it's a campground. There's a toilet down there, so you do need a pass because it has a quote-unquote amenity. But we're going to walk right down to the end here. The road is fenced off. There's a little interpretive display for the creek. Seen better days. But we're just going to go through the road. Now, one thing to note is that the road is closed to traffic, but there are occasional utility vehicles that come down here, so just keep your ears open. After a little bit, there's a little bit more accessible vault toilet here if you need to go. That's probably the better move. But otherwise, we're going to keep on walking down the road. Now, after a little bit, we're going to cross this bridge over the creek. The bridge was first built in the 30s, then widened in the 1950s. And if you look down, you can see the creek, crystal clear waters. The creek runs all year because it's fed by Pyramid Lake. And it's stocked with trout at this point, and you'll sometimes see some fishermen down here. Here's the other side. There's some little trails that go around there for the fishermen, and there's a little angler survey / sign in here. But really beautiful, really nice area. Once you've checked that out, let's continue to go down the road. You can see I-5 up there. I-5 was the interstate that put this out of commission. This is US 99. And we're just going to continue down. There's some more water on the left and right. Here's a waterfall on the right-hand side. Everything below this waterfall for the trout is stocked. Everything above this waterfall is wilds, which is kind of neat as well. But we're just going to continue down the road. It's about 1.5 miles, maybe a little bit more. It seems longer, I think, because it's a road, but if you look up right past that waterfall, you'll be able to see the fire tower in this little notch here. Probably can't see it in the video, but that's really the only time you can see it before we get to the top. Now we continue on the right-hand side. There are some signs for trout fishing. When you see these wild trout area signs, we're almost at the turnoff for the trail proper. One of the neat things about this road is it goes along the San Gabriel Fault as well, so you can see up there, beautiful, beautiful, erosion of the fault line. Now this is the turnoff here. I'm just going to go through this white gate, and from here on out, we're going to be on dirt to the summit. Now this is listed on maps as a Forest Service road, and I'm sure you could drive on this, but it's pretty narrow. I think you'd have a hard time in a regular vehicle getting up here. But you can see it's a wide dirt path. We're going to start doing the kind of business end of the climbing at this point. At some point, you're going to be able to look down and see Pyramid Lake down there and the dam. And actually, the road we were just on, 99, a lot of that is submerged under the waters when the dam was created in the 1970s. But you can see here, really, really beautiful. Now at this point, there's a big wide area and a hard left-hand turn. And when you make the hard left-hand turn, it's about, 2.7 miles in. But when you make this hard left-hand turn, the trail turns to a single track, and it's a single track all the way until we get to the summit. And if you look ahead, you can kind of see the path that we're going to go up through the gully up there. And the trail kind of winds around, and you get views from all sides, except for the north pretty much, but you can see into the western parts of Angeles National Forest over there. It's a little hazy today. On a clear day, you could see all the way to Twin Peaks, probably Baldy. And eventually you're going to see Slide Mountain. It's that guy. That's our final destination up top there, but you still can't see the fire tower from here. Now, when you get to this point, the landscape changes dramatically once you get up to the saddle. Some people informally call it Slide Saddle, and there's a little seat here, but now you can see there's these spectacular views to the west into the Sespe Wilderness and Los Padres National Forest. Also, the Condor Sanctuary is in there, where there are no humans allowed. But from here, we're just going to make the right and continue heading up the trail. And it's a little less steep from this point on out. We're going to go up the ridge here, and you can see we have views over to the east, and then when the trail kind of goes over here to the other side, on the west side, we're actually entering Los Padres National Forest. So at this point, we're in Los Padres National Forest, and the trail kind of makes a zigzag, or kind of hops back and forth across the boundary. Now, after a little flatter section, we're going to start doing some switchbacks and start climbing up again on the sort of final push up towards Slide Mountain. And you can see it's right in front of us there, and the erosion from the San Gabriel Fault here is really beautiful. You can see the trail going up. We're going to go up on the east side, and then we're going to cut around back to the west side before we actually reach the summit of Slide Mountain. Here on the east side, we can see Pyramid Lake, some really great views. The clouds were kind of rolling in when I came up here. I came up in the morning, but it's not a super high elevation hike. It's 4,000 feet or so, but it does get snow occasionally, and the winds are pretty intense in here. But you can see we're cutting back, more switchbacks. We're going to kind of work our way around the south side of the mountain. We're going to get nice views down into Los Padres, and we're going to go around to the west side of the mountain. We're going to get more views of the higher peaks. The next peak over is called Dome Mountain in Los Padres. And eventually you can see the tower up ahead. We're almost there at this point. You're just going to follow the trail up, and eventually you're going to come here to the fire tower, which has one of these really neat Forest Service signs. There's also a porta potty down there, and we can go up in the tower. Now, in fire season, there's usually a volunteer here, and you can volunteer too. I'll talk about that on the website, but you can go ahead and sign in at the register and climb up to the top if you'd like. One of the things I love about this fire tower is that you have to hike here. You can't drive up like most of the other ones here in Southern California, but go ahead, climb on up, check out the views. There's Pyramid Lake. You can explore. There's a trail over to sort of the other side of Slide Mountain. You can look inside. Really, really cool spot. I could definitely see myself spending a couple days volunteering here. Maybe I will at some point. But go ahead and check it all out, and then all you need to do is just return the way you came up, and that's the hike. And if you hang out for a minute, I'll show you what this whole thing looks like on a map. All right, so here we are. We start over here. It's an out and back, so we're going to go up to the fire tower and then back down. Here's the part where we park. Now, this is the campground in here, and there is a parking area on the side. There are no parking signs, so just be careful where you actually do park. We're just going to go onto the road. We're going to follow Piru Creek right down here. If I swing this around and look up, here's the bridge. Here's the bridge, Cherry Canyon. I'm going to follow it around, and eventually we're going to get to the turnoff for the trail. This is where that trout fishing sign was. And over here, when you're walking, you can see a tunnel gated off. This is a tunnel that goes to a underground water tunnel from Pyramid Lake to the next lake down. You can't get in there, not legally, of course. But here we are at the turnoff, and you can see, let me get it down here so we can kind of get a better look. you can see that there's a fair amount of climbing to do as we go up here. Now, it's not crazy steep. You can definitely get into a rhythm. It's well graded, but we're going to wind our way all the way up until we get to the saddle. Now, this was where we had the viewpoints, Dome Mountain over here, and Los Padres National Forest. Once we get up here, you can see the gradient is a little more mellow as we go along the ridge over here. And we're just going to follow the ridge along. And at this point, we're in Los Padres over here, but we're going to follow the ridge. This is the point where we went up the side, and then we have some more switchbacks over here. Take the switchbacks, we come around this side of Slide Mountain, then all the way up to the top, and then up to the fire tower. I mentioned there were some other trails to explore. You can take this trail over to the other side of the mountain. I think this is maybe 10 feet or so lower than over here, but that's the hike. And then when you're done, you just enjoy the views. I actually like the views on the way back down a lot more, I think, than the way back up, because you get to see this expanse in here. This is where the Condor Sanctuary is in Los Padres. Really, really beautiful and rugged area. But anyway, guys, have fun, and I will see you out in the trails.